Good morning, this is Camper Chats and today's discussion is all about cooking options within a camper van. What started as a mattress in the back of a work van to an old Mark I Transit with no power steering to years of saving and eventually our little T5 giving us memories we will always treasure. And finally, after the sad loss of my mother, a gift like no other. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think. Bye, have fun! Follow us as we begin the next adventure in our VW Crafter campervan, sharing our trips along with ideas and product reviews for Vanlife. Some of the options I'm going to share with you today are useful for both in a camper van, be it small or large or motorhome, but also some of them might be useful when camping using tents. So if this is helpful, great, but I want you to put in the comments, because this is Camper Chats, remember, put in the comments your opinions about some of the stuff I share, and if there's anything I've missed that you could recommend to people, because the whole point of Camper Chats is that we have a chat in the comments and you can tell me your thoughts to help other people. At the end, I want to share with you something that I'm about to purchase for my birthday. Thank you, Dave. That was not cheap, that I've been wanting for ages. So just wait till the end because I'm going to share that and then I'm going to do some videos all about it. Okay. When in a camper van, it does depend on your power source. We have a double ring gas hob and we also have, would you believe, a microwave. So we've got a leisure battery that runs the microwave or the air fryer, and I'll explain that in a minute, but we also have a separate gas tank, removable, just a small one, that runs the double hob. So if you have just electric, you're going to have to think about your options differently, and if you have just gas, same again. If you are just on gas, you can get a double hob or 3-ring with an oven and a grill. There's a couple of different ones on the market. Some have the grill separate, some have the grill within the oven, some are just an oven and 2-ring burner. I think Dave used to have one of those. They run just off gas. You can also run just off electric induction hobs. So you could have a removable hob that plugs in, or you could have one fitted into your worktop. Obviously, if you're camping, you'll have to kind of devise what's going to work for you. It also depends, if you are on electric hookup, then obviously you're going to be plugged in all the time, so electric might be a better option. You're paying for the electric, so why not use it? You can have your electric kettle and your air fryer and your microwave, it really doesn't matter. But for the purposes of today, most of the stuff I'm going to talk about is for being off-grid, because camper vanning for us is about driving to a destination, exploring, maybe staying the night nearby and then driving somewhere else. So we tend to work off-grid. So our driving and our solar panel charges our leisure battery, which is separate to the car battery in case you're not aware, and that leisure battery then powers the lights and the microwave and the air fryer. Now I say that lightly because the microwave and the air fryer do take a lot of energy. So we would tend to use them in the daytime, not of an evening, because if you're losing the light of an evening, your battery is going to go down enough that, you know, it might affect charging your devices or your lights later on. So it's much better to try and plan your meals, perhaps to do your main meal in the daytime, so you're using your energy while you've got daylight. Also depends how much sunshine you've got and how much daylight you've got. So a couple of options that that you might not be aware of. So the first one is this, and if you watch me, you know what I'm going to say now. This is the SQ grill. So this SQ grill is basically a kind of double pan. The pans do separate. I've done a whole video on this. If you're interested, you can go and watch the review video. I'll link it somewhere, probably in the description below. But this SQ grill, you can kind of heat up, you could do burgers, you can do bacon, you can do frozen chips, you can warm up your pizza, You can do like a stew in it, whatever. There's a lot you can do in this. It's much bigger than the Ridge Monkeys. The Ridge Monkeys, I believe, are very good. And I've heard that the Ridge Monkey XL is very good, but I still don't think it's as big as this. So with this, for instance, I could do 2 chicken breasts and some chips next to it as an example. I've done a whole review on this, so go and have a look at it. These are not dear anymore. They did go up to a stupid price, and now I think they're about 20 quid maybe. And they're absolutely brilliant. This is our second one. The first one is still running, it's just red, and I wanted a black one, so that's very vain, isn't it? But these just go on your gas hob, and you kind of cook it on one side and then flip it. I mean, I tend not to flip it, I tend to open it up and flip what's in it, and flip it again. It's got like, it's got a valve there to let the steam out and to get rid of kind of fat juices. Absolutely brilliant, use it all the time. This is great for camping or caravanning or campervanning when you've just got a gas hob. It just opens up your options a lot more to just boiling a kettle or sticking it in a pan. It's basically an oven on the hob. So that's one option, the SQ grill for gas hob. Now the other one, you might laugh at this if you've got a tent, but there's nothing like wanting crumpets, bagels, toast, tea cakes, you know, all those kind of things. If you haven't got a grill, you basically can't do it on a gas hob. So we've got one of these. Now, if you've ever tried one of these in a tent, you will know they're absolutely rubbish. But if you are in a caravan or a campervan, in an enclosed space, they work brilliantly. So you can get flat ones that just do 1 slice, but this does 4 slices. So you can kind of all eat at the same time if you want. And this just sits on the gas hob. They're literally a couple of quid. And it opens up all of your kind of toasting options, if you like, instead of having a toaster, which is kind of a big thing to store. And the great thing about this is it just comes apart and stores flat, so it doesn't take up any space. And that's a camping toaster. No good if you're camping and cooking outside, because I think the air, it just takes forever. I remember doing it when we used to have tents, thinking, well, that was a waste of money. But when you're in a camper van, absolutely brilliant. So that's the second one for gas hob. The other thing we got, now this actually came with our camper van, and my mum used to have one of these. We used to have one at home when we were kids, and it's brilliant. And I know you can fry an egg, but it makes a mess, doesn't it? And it's a lot of oil. But do you remember having one of these? Has he put water in this? Hang on, he's prepared everything. No, he hasn't. So, hang on. Do you remember having one of these? An egg poacher. And they're absolutely brilliant, because not only have you got the frying pan to use another time, but for poached eggs, it's just nice and clean and tidy, and it doesn't spit anywhere, and it's just so nice to have poached eggs. So we're actually really enjoying that, and that's just another option if you love eggs in the morning or any other time, without having to fry and have oil spitting all over your camper van. So that's a great. All these options, by the way, they're in my Amazon shop under the kitchen section. So we've got an Amazon shop that shares all the things that we use, and if you go and have a look, I've put funny comments by a lot of it, so you can go and look at the comments just for entertainment value if you want to. But I basically share things that we use in the camper van. But if you go to the kitchen section, a lot of this stuff will be in there if you're interested in going having a look. So a poacher, okay. So, microwave and air fryer. Now, air fryer, we're all using air fryers at the minute, and to be fair, I say this lightly, you have to have an inverter, which is something that converts your battery pack energy, your 12-volt energy from your leisure battery, and it converts it to a 3-pin plug. I'm going to do it in layman's terms. If you haven't got an inverter that converts it, you can't do this, basically. And the inverter you have must be able to manage the power that the microwave or the air fryer is going to take. Now, an inverter is like a big piece of kit generally that's fitted from your battery, and it takes the power from your battery, goes to the inverter, converts it to 3-pin plug, 240 volt, and then goes to like a 3-pin plug like this. And we have a switch that we switch on, and then you can use the 3-pin plug for the air fryer or the microwave. Now, I'll be honest, I'm trying to think what our outputs are, but if it's a sunny day, we can use the microwave for a bit, but I tried doing jacket potatoes the other day, and I thought I'll do them in the microwave, finish them off in the air fryer, because I wouldn't have both going at the same time. And we ended up with a very cooked spud, but we didn't have enough energy to crisp the outside. So I do think you need to think about your electricity output and your battery ability. How much a battery do you have? What size? Do you have lithium, which would be much better? Do you have AGM? What's the wattage? And just do some sums. If you Google it or go on AI and say, I want to run a microwave in an air fryer and these are the output, what battery do I need? I'm sure ChatGPT will tell you. Now, one of the things, if you're not sure what the wattage is of something, one things I did is I got this air fryer and I put it on I've got Hive at home, so you know, the one that does the heating, so you can turn it on before you get home or turn it on from your settee, so if you're a bit chilly. So because I've got Hive, I've got a couple of Hive plugs. And if you plug something into a Hive plug, like hair straighteners or an air fryer, it will tell you on the app what wattage it's using. And so that's a really good way of finding out what wattage something uses. So I went and got my laptop, what wattage does that use? My electric e-bike, to charge that, what wattage is that? So I knew what inverter I needed, what watts inverter I needed to cover all those things, not at the same time, but so that I could charge my e-bike and so I could use hair straighteners. And this was in the T5. Now, when we bought this, it came with the microwave, and the gentleman that had it already had the microwave and the inverter fitted. So, you know, we might upgrade our batteries to lithium maybe in the future and get something a bit bigger so that it can store more energy so that we can run things a little bit longer. But for now, it's working great. And there is 4 of us at the minute. We're away on our family holiday, so it's getting used a lot more, the power. So if you're going to think about air fryer and microwaves, you really need to think about the wattage of the microwave and the wattage of the air fryer, and whether you have an inverter and a battery that can deal with that capacity. And for the rest of us, it's kind of basic stuff. It's kind of your 2-ring gas hob or your grill or your toaster on your gas hob. So the other thing to think about would be barbecues and gas barbecues. Cooking outside, fires. Dave loves a fire pit. We generally don't do campsites, but if we do a campsite or somewhere where you can have a fire, then we love to cook on it. Dave actually got a friend who's very clever to do like a rack. I'll try and put a picture in now, and it's like a rack with 2 dangly legs, if you like, that you just knock into the ground, so you can do it above your fire, wherever your fire is. There's lots of fire pit options. There's fire pit kind of teepees, if you like, that have something that dangles that you can cook on. It depends on the type of camping you do. We generally wild camp, so we wouldn't start a fire unless we were on a campsite that allowed that, or on a beach somewhere that allowed it. So most of our cooking would be maybe a barbecue. So something like a folding barbecue, something that's small that can fold away. We don't make the mistake we did. We bought this barbecue that looked awesome and it was folding. It was much sturdier than the one we've got. And when it arrived, we realised that it is really heavy, far too heavy to have in the campervan, would add far too much weight to the campervan. It just wouldn't be worth it. So, but barbecues are a great option, and you can always just shove a log in afterwards and it turns into a mini fire without it being officially a fire pit, if you like. So barbecues are an option. Have a little look. The one we've got is just a folding barbecue, and it folds to just a small little bag let out, which is ideal if you've got a small camper van. Just try and think of something that is off the floor, because wherever you are, it tends to burn the grass. We have a heat mat, which I've added in my Amazon shop, that you put underneath the barbecue, and it just protects the grass from the heat of the barbecue. So they're really handy. So the other thing I've heard about that I've never tried, so if you've got one, tell me in the comments what's best, and they're called a Kadak. So they're basically an outdoor, they run off a little gas canister, and they're like a barbecue with a lid, but I believe that you can grill on it, and you can also cook like a full chicken. So it turns into its own oven, which is awesome if you're cooking outside. So again, depends where you're travelling, depends what your plans are, depends how you travel. If you travel abroad, it might be more appropriate if you by a river to get out a barbecue, and a Kadak would be ideal because you can cook outside, which is nice if it's hot, and you can do like a full meal in this Kadak. So if you've got a Kadak, can you put below what you think of it, what you would change, as in, would you get the big one, the small one? You know, what works well for you? Are you 2 people, 4 people? What are the downsides of a Kadak? Because they are quite chunky, I believe. I don't know what they fold down to. And whether they're worth the money. Okay, so on to the last thing. So the last thing is something I'm very excited about. Dave has gifted me for my birthday something called an Omnia Oven. Now, an Omnia Oven is a bit like the SQ grill, as in it's an oven on a hob. The difference with this is you can do things like cakes in it, you can do a lasagna in it, you can do stews in it, you can do shepherd's pie, for instance. So it is like an actual, there are certain things you can't do in the SQ grill that you can do in this Omnia Oven, and from all the research I've done, they're fantastic. And I've gone for the non-stick one, and I've gone for one that has a rack halfway, so you could do like roast potatoes and like a proper roast dinner. So I'm going to be doing some, once I've got used to it, I'm going to be doing some videos kind of sharing what it's like. It is not cheap. For me, I think it cost a fortune, but I think I will really enjoy using this, and it's a real treat of a present. So thank you, Dave, for my gift. So the Omnia Oven, I'll put a link below to the basic one. There's a 2 litre and a 3 litre. I've gone for the 3 litre so that I can make bigger meals if we're all here, but I don't have to. But you can get the 2 litre one and everything you need for like 50 quid, which ain't too bad. But if you then add all the silicone inside and the racks and stuff like that, it ends up being quite expensive. But from everything that I've done, the research I've done, they're fantastic. So if you've got an Omnia Oven, can you put in the description below a comment telling me what you think of it? Do you think it's worth the money? Do you use it much? It's quite a bulky thing to store, but I've measured our microwave and I'm going to store it in the microwave when it's not in use, so it's not going to take up any more space. I think if I had the T5, I'd have to be convinced that it's worth taking up the space because it's a lot of money, and it's a large item. You can also use them on like a fire, any heat source, like a barbecue or something. So I'll be sharing some Omnia Oven experiences, but if you've got one, can you please share in the comments your thoughts? So I think that's probably it. Let me see, have I done everything? I think just to conclude, it's probably wise if you're building your camper van, I would suggest, tell me if you think I'm wrong, to have a mix of options for cooking. So maybe have a barbecue, a double gas ring and something that runs off electric, because if you don't get the sun and it rains for 3 days and you've no power or minimal power, you basically can't cook, and if you've got gas you can. And there's just having more options means that you can deal with any eventuality. If you have a problem with your electrics or your battery, you know, you've had it really. Or if your gas runs out and you've no other way to cook, you're on pot noodle for the next week till you find somewhere to get a gas refill. So I think it's probably wise to have a number of different options rather than just relying on one option. So tell me if you agree. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Next week will be our travels. And if you've anything to add about cooking options in a camper van, can you please put it in the comments below, because I love to hear your ideas and things I've not considered, and if there's a better option that I didn't know about. So share it in the comments. Okay, until next time, bye.